Welcome everybody to the 9th episode of the Super Nintendo World series, Mating Planet Coaster, of course. And I think this episode is going to be really interesting because we're starting finally with the darkride itself, and you're going to see some of the scenes I've made. Actually, this episode was intended to be to have more stuff, because this darkride it's basically separated in 3 sections, one for each game. The first one is Yoshi Island, the second one is Super Mario World, and the third one is going to be Mario Galaxy. And what I wanted to do was 3 parts, 3 different videos, one for each part. But as I was making the stuff, I saw it took too much time. I was actually this video would have actually released sooner if it wasn't so hard making these rooms. And what happened was that I decided to basically separate the Yoshi Island part into 2 parts, and probably it's going to happen also with the other parts. So Super Mario World will probably have 2 parts, and the Mario Galaxy part also will have 2 parts. So I'm sorry about that. That means that there will be more videos to finishing the darkride. If I can finish it in less videos, better. But yeah, that seems to be the time I spent in the rooms. And you're going to see 3 rooms in this video, and I think the 3 rooms are packed with stuff, so it's going to be really interesting. I also saw some time-lapse parts of how I built some of the scenes of the sculptures. That's something that I don't usually show in my videos because it takes too long to record, and I think it's a little bit boring because it's a lot of detailing. But actually, because I thought it was fast enough making some of the stuff I'm making in this video, I thought I was going to it was a good idea showing some of the stuff, like the island and one of the rooms we have at the end. And here I'm creating the first room. The first room is basically the stork of Yoshi Island, bringing baby Luigi and baby Yoshi to their parents. We don't know who are the parents in the games. They never tell us who are the parents. But yeah, and you can see I'm using the messages in the darkride telling the story, and that's because the game also uses this type of messages. It uses it as blackboards, like children blackboards or school blackboards. So I wanted to show that in the darkride. And here you can see finally one of the things I told you, that I was going to show you one of the time lapses of one of the sculpts I made. This one is really simple, so that's why it's recorded. There's a bigger version of the island that I didn't record the time lapse because it was really long to make. But you can see that actually in a funny video that I released last week. That was with like a video with the title screen of Yoshi Island, a parody of it, and you can see how it looked in that video. But here you can see how I make the smaller version. This one goes like sink it into the room, into the wall of the room, and so I don't need to make the whole island. So it looks like from the darkride, it looks like in perspective the island disappears, the back of the island. And I think that's something that they use a lot in darkrides, because they try to make it like theaters, like the scenery, some of the stuff they intend to be really big, but what they usually do is perspective games with painting in the walls and stuff like that, bringing like a little bit part of in 3D sculpture and a little bit part in 2D, like if it was drawn in the wall. And that's something I wanted to show with this stuff in this darkride, because I'm trying to make it as realistic as possible. And you can see I've added the island into the room already. And what I did was put water in the room and a little bit of like a blue roof that makes like the water a little bit more cartoony. but when the game is on, when you are riding the ride, you can see like the shimmering of the water a little bit, and it looks really nice, I think. And then because it's like like a dusk sky, a dark sky, I added, of course, some light bulbs that are like the stars in the sky, and really I think they look really good, and I'm reducing them a lot in my videos. You've seen it used not like stars, but as little gems in the mine parts, in the underground parts of the queue. But these times they are the stars, so they don't blink and things like that. Or I didn't want them to blink. Of course, if you look at the sky at night, stars usually blink a little bit. And this one, it's also a time lapse of one of the columns. You can see this in the Yoshi Island title screen. Not title screen, in the cutscene. In the first cutscene, they tell the story as a little theater with these columns surrounding it. And I wanted to use these columns and like this little theater window for the different passing of the scenes. So each time you pass a room in the first part of the ride, you pass it through one of these columns, these theater story holes, basically. And that was the idea basically of this dark ride, telling a little, at least of the first part of the dark ride, because it's going to change a little bit in the next ones. And in the first part, it was trying to tell a small story with the theater feeling that Yoshi Island, the little like for children, that theater for children that Yoshi Island has. And I hope that it looks good, and the opinion, well, that's an opinion I leave for all of you. So you can leave a comment if you don't like it or if you like it. And I also used actually the sci-fi doors for the pipe parts, so I could separate the entrance of the dark ride itself, because I thought it was better you couldn't see. But I'm using things like wooden doors and stuff for the pipe part. Didn't look too good, so I decided to use the sci-fi, and the sci-fi actually works for pipes, for Mario pipes. So I'm going to be using that every time I use a pipe in the dark ride. For example, when you pass from Yoshi Island to Super Mario World, there's going to be another pipe, and I'm going to use the same type of doors. And yeah, you can see this video is taking a lot of like detailing stuff, of trying to get the dark ride as realistic as possible. I've made of course the ceiling with the stars panel from the new update. The star panel is amazing because it doesn't reflect any light, so it's completely dark and it looks amazing. And you can see here something that I had the idea, because I think I've seen this in some dark rides, and they have like to hide lights in the ceilings, in the black ceilings. They usually have like these flat clouds for emulate the ceiling, but they only use it in really cartoony stuff. But for example, they use these cloud panels basically with lights, and what these cloud panels do is hiding the lights that are illuminating the dark ride itself. And that's something I wanted to show with my dark ride basically. And I've been watching some videos of some real dark rides, like It's a Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, and things like that, and other theme parks, not only Disney. And it actually surprises me that if you watch, because when I've been there, I actually remembered about that. But when you go inside rides like It's a Small World. It's a Small World. The ceiling, you can see the air conditioners in the ceiling and the lights, and it's a little bit distracting. So I wanted to do it a little bit more expensive stuff, basically, with the cloud paneling and stuff like that. And I hope it looks right. And then to give it the mood, basically the lighting is the lights are really important in the dark ride to give it the mood. So I used blues for the sea, and I used purples for the sky and things like that to give it this type of night feeling, the real cutscene had in the game. And now, as you can see in the video, I'm starting with the second room after finishing the first one. And the second room is a little bit similar to the first one because it continues the scene of the first one where the stork was carrying the baby Mario and baby Luigi. But in this one it's showing like Kamek, he's going after the babies and he can only get Luigi. And Mario falls into the island and then the game starts. And what I'm doing here is creating a larger pool of water because you are going a little bit up with the ride, because I needed to go into a second story for the darkride because the queue is super big, so I need the darkride to go up a little bit. And that's why you see the first scenes going up. Something that has helped me to create the story of the first part with the cutscene of Yoshi Island flying through the skies and all that. So something for the other. Actually, a problem I had helped me to create a little bit of story. That's things that happen when you are building this stuff, even when it's planned, because I had already planned some scenes, but I didn't know where to start. I didn't even know if I was going to start with Super Mario World or Yoshi Island, because the games released Super Mario World first and Yoshi Island second. But that's the idea was. I thought it was nice to see at first Yoshi helping baby Mario and baby Luigi, and then Mario and Luigi finding Yoshi in the second part of the ride. And you can see here like the big island I made for the old video, the video from the last episode. Well, it was an extra episode, it was not an important episode, and it was a bigger island, more detail of course. And here is a realistic detail I wanted to add, and was making some water machinery so it could change the water of the ride a little bit. So that part that I couldn't hide, because if I actually terraform that part, the water will disappear. So I decided to change it into a hidden machinery for the changing water. So again, another problem I had with the game that the game brought, I decided to use it for my own benefit and create something realistic out of it. Adding again a little bit of clouds for the sky. As I said, it's really similar to the original scene, but in here you change it, like the stork has the beak open, so the baby Mario falls, and Kamek has come screeching through the sky and has steal baby Luigi. He actually wanted to steal baby Luigi and baby Mario, but he only got baby Luigi. And that's how the story of the game starts. If you have played that, of course you will know it. But I'm telling this for people because I know a lot of people haven't played Yoshi Island and Mario games, of course. Not all people that are watching these videos are Nintendo fans, and they may haven't, and they may have not played these games. So it's cool to explain these things. I'm sorry if you know the game by heart, because I know Yoshi Island has a lot of fans. It's a really loved game, and you know all this from memory. But I hope you are liking how it's looking, and I hope it's like, wow, I'm a really big fan of Yoshi Island, and I would love to go to this theme park. If you are getting that thought, I actually have done my job right, so I'm happy about that. You can actually talk about that in the comments. Tell me what Mario game is your favorite, for example, or any idea you have with the different scenes that are coming soon. As I said, it's Super Mario World and Mario Galaxy. I'm not going to add any more games, because if not, the ride it will be too long, and I will be here forever, and I want to do other things like the Mario Kart ride, for example. That I have some amazing ideas for that. But I hope if you are a fan of Yoshi Island, you are liking this stuff, and you are saying that you want to go to this theme park. Something that's coming right now, it's me trying to put the text in the Blackboard. And actually I wanted to talk about this because I got a comment in one when I posted one of the screens in Reddit of how I made the Blackboard with so many text. And as you will know, the text tool in Prime Coaster is a little bit bad, like a little bit crappy, I will say. It's really, I don't usually like it very much because it's really hard to write anything you want. And actually it has a really big problem that if you put a lowercase letter like the G, the P, the Y, the text turns smaller. That will actually be useful if you want it, but there's a lot of phrases that where you don't use P or Y or G. So what I had to do to create the text smaller as I wanted was put a P at the start of the phrase and then hide it. And that's how I made the text smaller, and using a lot of panels and hiding them back is how I made the text a lot longer. And that's so for the guy that asked on Reddit, that's how I made the Blackboard text as long as it looks. And here is another part of another time lapse I wanted to show you, because it was really fast to make. I was actually watching a movie while I was making this time lapse. Hello Dolly. And which I love the music about it, because they use it actually. The soundtrack of Hello Dolly is used in the Disneyland theme parks in Main Street, and that's what, because I was hearing some Disneyland tracks before, and I was looking for the songs of the Main Street, and I discovered it was Hello Dolly, and how the New York part had an amazing look that I want to use in one of the main streets, and I want to make in the future, but that's for another project. And so I wanted to watch Hello Dolly just to see the New York, how they made the New York sets, and they're beautiful, completely beautiful. And actually Disneyland Paris Main Street is based on Hello Dolly, so that's something there. And the music, of course, is they are instrumental versions of the Hello Dolly musical, and they are amazing. I actually, if you have Netflix or something, I advise you to watch it, because it's a great and fun movie. And so here, what I was wanted to explain, it's making one of the backgrounds that appears in the one of the Yoshi Island cutscenes. When the baby falls, this is the next scene that appears, and I wanted to make like a corridor part, not a room, but a corridor where the train passes, and you can only see a Yoshi and some background paintings, scenery. Again, this is very theater-like stuff, like some of the dark rides, of the real dark rides. Because what they try to do is make 3D stuff, but also mix it a little bit with 2D stuff, so it looks like a theater. And that's basically one of the stuff that makes dark rides really interesting to make, realistic dark rides. And that's because they can't. The thing is, dark rides are really costly. So imagine having to make everything in 3D. That will be really hard to make because of all the money spent and things like that. So what they actually do is paint some of the backgrounds so they look like they are bigger than they are, and then make the near ones more 3D like. And that's what I tried to make here. Some of the trees are like are in 3D, so you can see like you are actually there, but then there's some stuff like the vegetation that's a little bit in the back. And we're approaching the ending, and actually I didn't record one of the last parts. You will see in the cinematic shots they're really long cinematic shots, and I think you will like them. And I had to say again, I use one of AdfoTV emergency signs that comes super handy, because the part of that I left out of the time lapse is an emergency exit that makes the dark ride really realistic. And yeah, that's it for today's episode. I hope you've liked it. I leave you with the cinematic shots, and I see you next episode. Goodbye.